cup is pretty filled today, and I was feeling bitter and dark, and that's how I made my coffee. Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Coffee and Crime. I am going through a lot of personal things right now. Someone in my family passed away recently, but I promised you guys a new video every week, so I want to stick to it as much as I can. If my energy seems a little low in this video, I hope you can understand. So with that being said, today we will be discussing the devastating case of influencer ALEXIS SHARKEY. It's been a year since her life was taken, and this is a very frustrating case because although it's sort of solved now, you'll see what I mean towards the end of the video, we won't be getting any answers as to why her precious life was taken away. So before I get into all the details, let's hear a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Premium Jane. Premium Jane offers the highest quality CBD on the market. They're my favorite go-to place to get any type of CBD products. They have a wide variety of oils, gummies, bath bombs, topicals, and so much more. I've been using their CBD Solve for a few years now. I use it in my beauty regimen, or if I'm ever in pain, I just rub a little bit of that CBD Solve and it just goes away. I also love their bath bombs at the end of a very stressful day. It's so soothing on my body. And then I really enjoy their oils and their gummies. So shout out to Premium Jane. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. Their link will be in my description box below. On November 28th, 2020, a Houston city worker stumbled upon what he thought was a mannequin on the side of the road. He wasn't really sure what it was, but he also didn't want to go check by himself. So he called his supervisor, John Richardson. The two men went to check it out and quickly realized that they were actually looking at a dead body of a young woman. John Richardson was quoted to say, "She was lying there deceased, no clothes on. So I just got on the phone and called 911. The police would later identify her body as 26-year-old Instagram influencer ALEXIS SHARKEY. To understand what happened to her, we need to take a closer look at her life and her past. ALEXIS Robinault was born on January 25th, 1994, and she grew up in northwestern Pennsylvania with her parents and two younger sisters. The family was very close-knit, loving, and supportive. ALEXIS herself was described as a kind and generous soul who would not stop pursuing her goals. After she graduated high school in 2012, ALEXIS attended the University of Pittsburgh to study biology, nutrition, and psychology with a long-term goal of pursuing medicine. She was a hard-working student who eventually graduated at the top of her class. At this point, ALEXIS felt like she had earned a gap year to use her time relaxing and traveling. She felt a need for change in her life, so she moved to Odessa, Texas in 2018. There, she found a job at a sports bar called Twin Peaks. With her outgoing, sweet, and caring personality, ALEXIS made friends with her coworkers right away. A coworker eventually introduced ALEXIS to a man named Thomas Sharkey. Her coworker saw ALEXIS going through a breakup with her ex-fiance, so she thought she needed someone new in her life. Tom was a well-known customer at Twin Peaks. He regularly came in and talked to all the waitresses and, always making them laugh. He worked as a consultant in the oil field, so, he traveled a lot, something that ALEXIS wanted to do. Despite their age gap, because Tom was in his 40s and ALEXIS was in her early 20s, the two hit it off immediately, and so their picture-perfect romance began. The couple traveled everywhere together, posting beautiful photos on Instagram with the hashtag couple goals. To the outside world, they really seemed like couple goals. Soon, ALEXIS decided to quit her job at Twin Peaks and become a salesperson for Mona hair care products. Now, you guys know my whole deal with Mona hair care products, but I'm not here to judge. Fortunately, ALEXIS found big success in this company. She had a natural talent because she was so beautiful. Her hair was amazing. so she moved up the rank and became an executive director in early 2020. At this point, she began attracting more and more followers on her Instagram page, where she showcased her lavish lifestyle, traveling adventures, her relationship with her friends and family, her relationship with Tom, and a lot of other beautiful beauty posts. Soon, Alexis became a beauty influencer with thousands of followers, although she didn't like to be called an influencer. In fact, she preferred being called a businesswoman. Alexis and Tom's relationship had evolved quickly, and by summer 2019, they were already engaged. The couple first moved together in Colorado, and after they got married in December 2019, they moved once more and settled in Houston, Texas. There, Alexis quickly made new friends, as she always did everywhere she went. The radiating young woman just had something that made people feel drawn to her. And so Alexis became a part of a group of girlfriends that she met through a mobile app. They absolutely loved hanging around each other and also always kept in touch through WhatsApp group chat. Alexis was very active on their group chat. This part will play an important role later on. However, as perfect as Alexis' life may have seemed from the outside view, the truth was there was something weird going on in her marriage. Even though you can see pictures of Alexis and her friends next to photos of her and Tom on Alexis' Instagram page, in real life, Tom was almost never there when his wife was out with her girlfriends. Actually, Alexis rarely even spoke about her husband. However, the friends that did see Tom once in a great while said that they just felt a little off about him. One of Alexis' friends recalled, quote, "Whenever we all go out, he would just always give us the stink eye. When we were at her place, he would just walk around giving us creepy vibes," end quote. So in November 2020, Alexis traveled to Tulum, Mexico. Once again, she was with her group of friends, but Tom did not join her. When Alexis came home, it was time to make plans for Thanksgiving, which was just around the corner. However, it was extremely weird and out of character again for Alexis to tell her mother she was not going home for Thanksgiving, but that she will definitely visit for Christmas. The same pattern had been going on for almost a year. Alexis loved her family dearly, and at a point, she used to see her family as much as she could, and now she just stopped visiting them altogether. Her family was still excited that she promised she would come visit for Christmas, but sadly, that would never happen. It should tell us something that on Thanksgiving, instead of Alexis spending time with Tom, her husband, she wanted to go spend the day at her friend Tanya's house. There she stayed until midnight, and then later on ended up going to a bar where she spent more time with her friends until 3 a.m. Alexis' friend then drove her to Tanya's place to pick up her car. She tried to text Tanya to let her know that she needed to pick up her stuff from her house, but Tanya didn't respond because she was asleep. So the following day was Black Friday. So this meant her day was about to get really busy because she was a salesperson for Monet. You would think she'd be super active on social media that day to boost her sales like her other colleagues, but Alexis was oddly silent. Then at 5 p.m. a text came in to the group chat from Alexis' phone asking her girlfriends if they had any plans. Since everyone was already busy, they have decided to meet up the next day. However, Alexis did not text back her thoughts on this idea. In fact, suddenly Alexis just went radio silent. A few hours later, Tom texted one of her friend's boyfriend to ask if they have heard or seen Alexis anywhere. They worried about what was going on, so the boyfriend immediately called Tom, who informed him that Alexis was missing. According to him, they had had a huge fight and Alexis just stormed out of the house barefoot, and then a black car came and picked her up. The phone call between Tom and the boyfriend ended up being 45 minutes. During that time, Tom had painted a story of what had happened. However, the story would later change multiple times. The following day, Alexis' girlfriends started planning their day on the group chat, but they were hearing absolutely nothing from Alexis, which, let me remind you, as I mentioned in the beginning, she was very active on their group chat. She would respond immediately anytime someone had said something on there. Still, it wasn't until Alexis didn't show up for the movie date that her girlfriends finally thought, something is terribly wrong. Where is Alexis? That just wasn't in Alexis' character. Alexis never skipped out on plans she had with her girlfriends, and if she ever did, she would let them know the reason immediately. So as her friends increasingly worried, they decided to call her mother, Tesi, who actually informed them that she was already aware of the situation because she had already spoke to Tom on the phone. Afterwards, Alexis' friends started reporting her missing as her mom started posting about it on social media, hoping that someone would come out with some information of her daughter's whereabouts. What her friends and family didn't know yet is that her naked body was already found on the side of the road just a few miles away from her home. Tom was immediately brought in for interrogation, but because there were no signs of struggle on Alexis' body and no apparent cause of death, everyone was just left with questions. What happened to her? As the news broke of Alexis' death, her devastated mother said, quote, "That doesn't even make sense. This is absolutely foul play. There is nothing to me that suggests that this was an accident. And there's nothing to me that suggests anything else other than that this was done to her. And I believe that in my mother's gut," end quote. Still, it was not until January 2021, 2 months after her death, the medical examiners concluded that her death was by strangulation. The revelation just increased the suspicion on her husband. Soon after Alexis had been found dead, dark details of her relationship with Tom had begun to come to light. Alexis had allegedly told her friends that her marriage was failing, and she was afraid for her life. It seemed like Alexis was planning for a divorce. In fact, she had already started the process before she went missing. There were also some indications that Alexis had already found someone else, as the night before her alleged fight with Tom, she had been at the bar with a guy named Sebastian. She had met him on her trip to Tulum, and they had immediately hit it off. However, we don't know for sure if they were just friends or if there was something more between them. Nevertheless, Alexis clearly wanted a new life without Tom in it. Tom, of course, denied any involvement in Alexis' death. At the same time, Alexis' friends talked about his abusive, controlling, and manipulative nature, which apparently Alexis had opened up to them about. Everyone's finger was pointed at Tom, who soon after his wife's death moved all the way to Georgia. However, since then, investigators have not disclosed information on arrests or suspects in this case. That was until last October, actually this October. Last month, okay, when a press conference was held by police stating that they have obtained an arrest warrant for Tom Sharkey on September 29. They said he had not been honest during the investigation and had a history of being evasive. In addition, earlier in August, Tom had agreed to meet with authorities, but in the end, detectives were unable to locate him. But fortunately, Tom was not able to run forever, as the investigation had determined that he was the only person who had the means, motive, and opportunity to have committed the murder, so Tom needed to be found. So eventually, the police tracked him down at his daughter's home in Florida. When U.S. Marshals knocked on the door on October 7th, get this, you guys, the daughter and her boyfriend came out, but Tom was nowhere to be seen, and so they went in the house and he was found dead in the closet with the gunshot wound in his head. So basically, he took his own life because he knew he was guilty. I mean, I have no words. He is just a complete and utter coward. So since they are both now gone, we will never know for sure what actually happened. I don't know what else to say. My heart goes out to the Rovenalt family. I hope they can find some peace. That's gonna do it for this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye-bye.